Travis Wayne Goodsell, the unpopular Mormon outcast. It troubles me whenever our government uses a date by which to do something very evil on the 1st of May. Last year, Governor Herbert, in conjunction with Trump, opened up Utah on the 1st of May. The church, being the old conservatives, waited until like the 16th. The reason why that's a bad day to do bad things is that that's the anniversary of the Illuminati. If you don't know who the Illuminati are, Johann Adam Weishaupt and his merry band of 5 terrorists used the inverted pentagram of Lucifer to call themselves the Illuminati, the enlightened ones, light bearers, to cause destruction of nations so that a new world order would rise from the ashes. So, yeah, that's always troubled me. And as they purposely used the biblical apocalyptic prophecies to carry out their latter-day attack. When I found that out, that was horrifying. Because I could never understand that evil would do the will of God unknowingly. That doctrinal concept just doesn't make sense to me. But Lord, I was obedient to your commands. You have to let me into the celestial kingdom. No, Lucifer. You used your agency. I've only been doing that which has been done on other worlds. Why cursest thou me? And so, understanding evils of men, that they're purposely mocking the Bible, mocking the prophecies. And so thus, they're purposely doing all things in accordance with the dates in the Bible, according to the signs in the heavens that are given. But there's an interesting weirdness with prophecy, because though the enemy thinks they are mocking prophecy in fulfilling it, they're not expecting the good guys, the good guy, the Messiah, to come and stop them. That's why they're so brazen. That's why it's a mockery. They do not expect to be stopped. They expect to get away with it. And they're doing a pretty damn good job, aren't they? Because this is the time. As the Book of Mormon tells us, this is the time that we're planning to do it. And we're warning you, save the Constitution on January 6th. Do not help the insurrection. Oops. But as we are told in the Book of Mormon, all Scripture testifies of the Christ. And for Mormons, they think they already know the Christ. You have James E. Talmage, who writes Jesus the Christ. All of us missionaries are forced to read it, and most missionaries don't understand it, so they don't read it. Too big of a word. He's just repeating the gospel stories. That's all he's doing. He's just replacing the simple words that we understand from the Bible and putting in big, complicated, multi-syllable words. That's it. There's no reason to read Jesus the Christ. You can just read the Bible and get the exact same information. So there's the Cliff Notes. You see, kids, in my generation, we had this thing come out a little late for me, but it was called Cliff Notes. Before we had the internet with Google search to cheat on your assignments. We'd have to pay for a little pamphlet giving us the cheat sheet. And like I said, it was after my time. Oh man, now they come out with them. And as I've been through the scriptures, as I now realize even the stories about the patriarchs and the antediluvian prophets. What? That's a big word, Travis. Pre-flood. All of the stories are types and shadows, that's a Book of Mormon term, of the last days Messiah, last days Christ. And thus, the Bible, therefore, is more apocalyptic prophecy, just like the Book of Revelation, as the Book of Mormon is also. And so when I have done the video for you about Samson, the Sun King, remember Paleo Hebrew? I'm the decipherer. And that story goes over the 3 days of darkness for the latter days. Holy crap. Well then, the lion house and the beehive house next to the lion house, because he kills a young lion. Remember that part of the story? He's going to go get sealed for time and all eternity. And for the wedding feast, there's a beehive in the lion carcass that he killed. So I have no idea if the Brighamites knew this when they changed the names from Brigham Young's homes to the lion house and the beehive house, where people would eat after their wedding ceremony, the wedding feast after the wedding ceremony. I have no idea. The church tells us that they had no idea about Utah and that name, because as we're told, we were going to call it the state of Deseret, but some other guy beat us to Congress and he wanted Utah to be the name of the area, and so now it's Utah. And did that one guy know what he was doing by naming it Utah and not Deseret? See, these are things that perplex me, because as I read through the scriptures as prophecies about Judah betraying his brother Joseph, Judah betraying Jesus, Utah, Judah, phonetically the same. Do they understand what it is they're doing? Are they just mocking? Do they know? Because they're a part of the Illuminati? Well, the church is. That's why they have the inverted pentagram. Comes from the Illuminati. So the church knows. That's why Benson came out and said the Constitution will be saved, but not as Joseph Smith said in Washington. And sure enough, it was not saved in Washington. So now Biden is saying he wants every adult eligible for vaccination on the 1st of May. Why the 1st, Biden? Couldn't you just say that the 30th of April? Why did it have to be the 1st of May? I mean, is the 30th of April It's a Friday. What the hell? What the hell, Biden? So it disturbs me. But it freaks me out about all the details about this Messiah. Everything is prophesied. His whole life. The enemy can't reproduce this. It is so detailed. The names of his parents, not just his name, his birthplace, his birth land, or his land where after he's born, where he moves to. I mean, dear God, even some childhood stories. You have to go out of the Bible for some of them. See, if you don't understand, the Bible is not the complete collection. There are other scriptures that were not considered legitimate and were denied. The book of Jasher was denied by the Jews. The book of Jasher includes a story about baby Moses choosing to eat a coal, a hot burning coal, than picking the jewel, thus saving his life. That's a parable, a prophecy, because the Jews, again, the Jews are not looking for the Christian Christ. The Jews are looking for a mortal man, born of mortal parents, to, in the flesh, in mortality, build the temple, save the Jews, and have a millennial reign of peace. That's the learning of the Jews the Book of Mormon talks about. That's who Mormons are supposed to be. They're more Jewish and not Christian. But again, the Gospels are apocalyptic prophecy. That's why there's so many problems with it. Such as archaeology problems, such as throwing in a whole bunch of birth dates. And I've gone over the birth date. They give his birth date, and it's not December 25th. It's not 6th of April. Sorry, Mormons. But I did the video showing how the 2 days difference for 2024 is what the Smiths were trying to encode for us. But yeah, his birthday. And I've gone over it next week on Wednesday, 17th of March, 1970. Even the year. Because this year, his 50th year, is 3,333 years from the Jewish date for Moses, which is, in Jewish understanding, the Jubilee year. 50th year is Jubilee year. They have a book of Jubilees that also did not make it into their Tanakh, their scriptures. And so, yeah, it's very freaky. As I read Ezekiel 17. 16 is Sodom being destroyed because of neglecting the poor. 17 is the twig. He gives it as a parable, calls Ezekiel the Son of Man. Wait a minute, I thought that was supposed to be Jesus, the Christian God. That's why the Jews don't believe in the Christian God. They're looking for a man, Son of Man. That's why John in Revelation 12, a male child. But that's not his birthday. That's the sign of his birth. Then the sign of his death is 7 years later. Oh, 7-year reign from infant to toddler? Obviously not. He's supposed to be 50 in the middle of those 7-year period. And all of the prophecies, all of the stories, all prophesy about it, about him, about who he is, what to look for, how to identify him. And so, yes, the Smiths also knew. Joseph Smith put it in the Doctrine and Covenants of who to look for. Multiple places. And so if you're a Mormon and you're like, what the hell? I've never heard this. Yeah, there's a reason. There's a reason why the church is open before the CDC comes out with their report for religions on how to open safely. Nelson told us in the beginning, oh, we're going to follow the advice of the government leaders. They're going to let us know when it's safe. Yeah, well, we can't trust the government leaders, and so why are almost 3,000 dead in Utah alone? Why do the children keep getting sick from attending church service? As the stats show week after week, church is a super spreader still. Because Moses, with the Exodus, there was a virus. So did Moses say, well, we're going to wait for Pharaoh to tell us when it's safe to open, and then we're going to do a slow incremental opening? No. He said, screw Pharaoh, stay home. Those who followed Pharaoh died. Those who followed Moses lived. And therefore, likening the scriptures unto ourselves, Nelson becomes Pharaoh. But Mormons don't know their Messiah that they're looking for. They're still waiting for Pharaoh to tell them when Jesus, the Christian God of Mormonism, is coming for a second time because he failed the first time, according to the Roman period Jesus texts. Which are apocalyptic. That's why he failed. That's why he dies at the end, just like Samson dies. It's the sign of the death. But if you're going to treat it like an actual history, nope, he failed. Next. Brian David Mitchell, oh hell no. Get him out of here. We don't want no Brian David Mitchell. Him and his raping 14-year-old girls after kidnapping them. But yeah, he believed he was immortal. Mixing it with Mormon spiritual begottenness. But he changed his name to be the Messiah. But you can't do that. You have to be born with the name. You can't change the name and hope everybody will believe you. Don't fall for that. Don't listen to those guys. It should be obvious. It is obvious to all Mormonism that Brian David Mitchell is not the Messiah. But neither is Nelson. He's murdering us. So he's now the false prophet that Revelation warns us. But are you courageous enough to say, oh, I am in the wrong church. I need to leave. I need to find the true Christ. And so that's why I've been doing my videos. And I get people, when I tell them the new things and tell them about this Christ, they automatically mock me. Oh, you're him, huh? Oh, Moses is having a discussion with Jesus about this Travis who thinks he's the Messiah. I had a guy who thought he was a smart aleck for that. Do I fit the prophecies? Did you even bother to check? Do you even know the prophecies? Don't go thinking I'm him until you've checked. The checklist is huge. You think my hour-long videos are long? To just go over them as a checklist. I did my resume yesterday. Oh my God, an hour and a half. And so, check. Don't just blindly follow and believe. Check. I went over with you why Nelson is not the guy. He does not fit the prophecies. Neither do any of the Mormon prophets. None of them fulfill the prophecies. They must fulfill the prophecies. Do not follow somebody claiming to be led by God if they do not fit the prophecies. But do you know them? Because Moses was born in Egypt. So does that mean he's got to be born in Egypt? No. The Gospels says he was born in Jerusalem. No. See, again, you need to properly understand and interpret the revelations, the prophecies, because they're apocalyptic. They're fiction stories prophesying of the latter-day Christ, the latter days. And so, yeah, nobody comes out and says March 17th, 1970. That's what you have to understand with all of the different connections. The Book of Jubilees, the 50th year, and the 7-year time period, 3,333 years from the time Lehi left Jerusalem. Even Joseph Smith knew, because the Kirtland Temple was dedicated on March 17th. If you understand the Egyptian understanding of the raising of temples corresponding to the raising of the dry land from the waters, that's their Christ. That's their Messiah. And there Joseph is doing his very first temple on the birth date. So when did women who give birth to this Messiah get the priesthood from Joseph Smith? Yep, March 17th. Joseph knew. He knew the dates of the 7-year period from 2017 to 2024. He organized the church, specifically on the 6th rather than the 8th, to conceal the identity of the date. Book of Mormon was written to talk about it. And so it's weird because the enemy are purposely mocking prophecy. And I don't know how it can happen that you can have prophetic fulfillment of such a precise nature, all composed into one man. That just freaks me out. You know, if you believe in supernatural powers from God, sure, anything's possible. When you believe that science isn't real, truth isn't true, reality isn't real. But in a scientific mindset, my God. And so, yeah, even the Catholics. St. Patrick. Is that his birthday? Nope. It's his death day. And did he actually chase the serpents out of Ireland? Nope. Why did they put it in there then? Why did the Druids put it in there to tell his story? Battling serpents. All the religions knew, and they told their prophecies in different ways. But my born-again Christians, they believed in the literal interpretation of the Bible. So they're waiting for literal dragons. I guess Game of Thrones was their fulfillment, and they were going, yes, this is it. Jesus is here. There's the dragons. I don't know. The one kid drew excellent dragons. I would literally want to buy his art. He was that good at drawing dragons. But, yeah, no, don't literally interpret the Bible. You'll be wrong. I guarantee it. So how? I don't know. But, that's what you guys need to be doing. And if you're just going to continue to trust Nelson by not wearing a mask, going to church, going to work, getting sick and dying, along with your family and friends, who's the dumb one?